Hello, Gemini. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Art Nouveau Tarot by Matt Myers. Supportive Oracle cards, Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacy DeMarco. Bum, bada, bum, bum, bum. How is this going to go? And it's interesting, I just did, was it Capricorn? Maybe Taurus too. I just had a lot of fun musical energy kind of going on there. Like, wow, how come no matter what I do, it's upside down? Stop it. Not that that's bad. Not that that's bad, but like I turned it, no matter what way I turned the deck, I kept getting upside down cards. I'm like, I thought we had these right side up. What happened? Okay. Okay. Keep in mind again, even though I have a bunch of upside down cards, that does not mean things are bad. Somebody's holding on, that's for sure. Somebody's not letting you go. There's a face down card too. We got upside down cards, we got face down cards, we got a lot going. Like, this is just one of those readings, isn't it? This is upside down. Release with wisdom in the environment. Somebody is not letting you go. They just are, it's almost like are being held captive. But not like, hopefully not literally. Good Lord, I hope not. If you are, like, seek out help and get out of that. Like, that could go to a few different ways, but like, if you're completely being locked down and you can't get out, like, start finding a way to get out of that. Like, if you got to the internet, you should find something. Just saying. Somebody's just, they won't let you go, and they need to. Now, this might be emotionally, by the way. This could be a past lover who just keeps finding ways to drag you into their life. For some of you, I'm feeling like there might be a child connection, like you had a child with this person, or there's somebody you care for or somebody you have in common that they just keep pulling you back in. It might even be an acquaintance that you both care about, and they're finding every excuse to pull you back into their lives. They just will not let you go. And the wisdom reversed is telling me this is not right. Whatever they're doing, like, it's just not right. Wisdom reversed is like, they think they're doing what's right. They think they're doing what's in your best interest. They even probably think they're doing, obviously, what's in their own best interest. But it's not right. It's not. And I feel like this is draining you. Extremes reversed with purity reversed is kind of like, I almost feel like on the outside it doesn't feel like an extreme, but it's like it's so draining. It technically is an extreme, but it doesn't, like, it's kind of like it's hard to complain about because people don't see it. Like, people don't see what's really happening here, and it's so just daunting. Purity reversed is telling me, I feel like this has been manipulated to where you don't realize that this is really flat out wrong, that this is happening to you. Every reason this person is using to keep you involved is completely distorted, and it might be to the point where it's even got you questioning what you should be doing. Like, it's so warped that it's starting to affect you in a way like, I don't even know what I should be doing. It's kind of like if you have a child in common and they're pulling you into these things and they're using the child basically as a weapon to keep you involved with them. But you're like, well, it's my child, so I'm not going to just abandon my child. Like, what am I supposed to do? But the thing is, what they're dragging you into, like, they don't have to be there. You don't have to be there at the same time. There's a different way to work this out. It's kind of like, just because we have a child in common doesn't mean we have to be around each other constantly. But they're making you feel like that's how it is. Like, if they're toxic for you, you could still show that child love and show that child that you each love that child and that you'll work together, but you also can explain to that child, hopefully, like, we just can't be around each other. Sometimes that has to be the lesson. Sometimes that's a lesson for a child, like, we can respect each other but not be around each other. Like, how we feel about each other does not affect how we feel about you. And sometimes that's a lesson that helps a child learn a boundary. Like, how somebody feels for me does not affect how they feel about each other. They can still be caring for me, still look out for me, but they don't have to like each other. What's going on between them should not affect me. That should be between them. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but sometimes that's a lesson that is helpful for a child to learn at a young age, kind of like, what goes on between adults needs to stay between adults and should not be running off onto a child. A child should not be feeling, oh, I got to be careful what I say here. A child should not be like, if I tell so-and-so that I did this with mommy, or I did this with daddy, or I did this with that person, like I had a good time with them, they shouldn't get upset with that. They shouldn't have a negative reaction to that. You know what I mean? I shouldn't have to censor what I say, and I did this with them, and then they get upset. Like, that shouldn't happen. I don't know why we're going down that, but just in case that's there. Like, that should never be put on a child. Let's keep going. Okay. Going forward to the next stage is like, okay, are we going to get out of this or not? I don't know. There's like a trap moment here. This might, see, reverse cards, I'm kind of, like, it's saying what's going on, but it might also be showing how this is going to change. Because I feel like this is a situation that it may have to. Like, there may not, like, the way it's going, it just may not have an option. Because it just keeps lingering on. But this is face down too, is telling me, do you not realize that this is not changing? Do you also not realize, if this reading is hitting, I feel like maybe you're not really catching on to that. The page energy is very interesting. It's kind of like letting things go on autopilot, but something that's not going away, but they have it face down. Like, it's kind of like thinking at some point that this will just, it will just kind of go away, or it'll just kind of stop, or it'll just kind of dissipate, kind of like, foul air. It'll just kind of like, it'll move on, it'll go away, it'll just kind of dissipate, and that'll be it. It's nasty for a moment, but then it'll disappear, it'll go away. That's weird. That energy is weird, because usually Gemini, well, you have a lot of different avenues, but it's realizing that something isn't ending. It's just like, it's perpetual. It's perpetual. And seeing it that way, like, what it was is what it still is. It's like, there's a problem from the past that it's almost like, even though the outside world looks like it changed, almost like maybe this was somebody you used to live with and maybe you don't live with them anymore. It's almost like, okay, that changed. I don't live with that person anymore, so this is different. But the emotional baggage, the emotional distress even, is still the same level. It has not gone away. It does not feel different. You technically could be living in different places and still feeling like you still live in that same situation because that person is constantly bothering you. I think that's what this is saying when it's face down. Outside world may look like things have changed. Literally live in different places, but actually feeling, it's the same feeling. It's like, even though I don't live with that person, I feel like they're constantly breathing down my neck anyway. It's like I can't get out from under that feeling. Which number is this? The Two of Wands, the Lovers, and the Trap card? No, the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is wondering, like, it's kind of like fighting for something, getting it, but it's like finding that person. It's finding that person you really love. You want to be with them. You fall in love with them. They don't fall in love back. They don't love you back. But you actually get them. You get in a relationship with them, but they don't love you. And it's kind of like you win. You technically get what you want. Technically. But if they don't love you back, you didn't really get what you want. Because what you wanted was, you wanted that loving relationship where somebody loves you back. So it looks like from the outside you got what you wanted, but actually the love's not there, so you really didn't get what you want. And this is how this is coming forward, realizing that what's going on between you and whoever this is, and this doesn't have to be a love situation, by the way, but whoever's not letting you go and not letting you live your life the way you want to, they're not letting you breathe. Because for some of you, I feel like this is a parent relationship. Like, it's either you're the parent or the other person is your parent. And they're just not letting you live your own life, and they're controlling you. They're trying to control you. Now, this could be your parent, or you could be the parent of a child who is just controlling your life. Now, if, like, I'm thinking, like, if it's your child, like, they're of adult age or very close to it. That's what I'm thinking. Because I'm getting that analogy, because I'm assuming, like, if they're your child, they're an adult. they're an adult child at this point, I'm assuming. And they're trying to run your life. And even though maybe they're not there, maybe whatever's going on with them, this might be, I've seen this happen in the sense of like, people have children where their children just constantly need to be taken care of. They're adults, but then you have to pay for their bills, or you have to take care of their kids, or you have to constantly clean up after them, or you constantly have to bail them out of jail, something like that. That's an example of this, where it's just kind of like, even though they don't live under your roof, you constantly are worried about them. You constantly feel like you have to take care of them. You constantly have to pick up after them, even though they're not there. That could be an example of this. And it's telling me, even though things are not technically matching the way it looks on the outside, like it's still holding you down. And it's kind of like, it's time to make a choice. It's time to make a choice for your happiness. That's really a hard one, because like a parent who feels for their child and feels like they have to look out for them and feeling so drained by it, making that choice, kind of like realizing that what I'm doing is not helping the situation. Whatever's going on here about this person not letting you go and constantly making you be connected with their life, however that is, it's not working. It's not solving. It's not helping. This is not working. So this could go lover relationship, parent-child relationship, either way. This could be a friend. It could be a friend. Could be a sibling. It's definitely somebody who matters to you. So if it's a friend, it's a good friend. You know what I mean? Like a good friend, like you feel very bonded to them, which really kind of question, like, if this is a good friend that's draining you down like this, I say that and I'm just like, is it really a good friend though? Like, is it? Because I feel like some of you, like, well, they've helped me out in the past and I owe them. But if you're not really helping them anymore and they're draining you and they're not helping, it's not helping the situation, like, I don't know, maybe this is a time to reevaluate that. Maybe they were a good friend at some point. Maybe they were, or maybe they just seem to be, if I'm going to push my luck in that sense. You're going to come to a point where you realize no matter how much you love, no matter how much you care, this situation has now come to a point where it is currently toxic. And it's not good for you. And even if they think it is, it's not good for them. It's literally not. Now, this could be like, a lot of people fight this in the sense of like the other person thinks this is what they want, but it's not. Sometimes it's hard for people to accept that. It's kind of like when somebody fights to keep somebody in their life, this especially in romantic relationships, where somebody tries to keep somebody in their life and they fight to keep that person in their life, and the other person doesn't love them anymore. That's toxic. That's kind of like, when it's just over, it's over. And sometimes fighting to keep somebody where they don't want to be, that's not good. It's hard. Sometimes it's a very rough road, but it's letting it go. It's realizing what they think is happening versus what's really happening. The situation is toxic at this point. I feel like that's kind of like, well, at this point, it comes to a point of toxicity that it's just like, it's like poison to this fact, like you're breathing poison air. You have to get out before it strangles you. That's what I'm trying to get to, because I feel like saying it's toxic at this point is a little bit kind of like, well, it's been toxic. It's getting to the point of toxicity that it's going to do you in. That's what I'm saying. These two cards are very interesting together, especially with this deck. The Seven of Cups is kind of like realizing, feeling that this is a necessary evil, if I dare. Like this is just how it had to go. Like you just had to put up with it. It had to be this way. We had to go along with it. We had to do it this. I had no choice. It was having some positive effect or whatever. It's kind of letting go of those falsehoods. Kind of like, this is not good for me. They think it's good for them. It's not good for them. This has to change. Accepting that this is not good. This is coming to a place of toxicity where it's going to do you in and possibly them too. It's hard. I'm getting hiccups. That's like one of my triggers, saying this is very difficult. If this reading is hitting for you, when you hit this moment, this is not an easy step forward. It's also, when it comes forward with the Chariot, it's kind of like it's hitting ahead, and it's kind of like, I got to do something different, and quickly just making about face. This might be one of those moments where you've considered making this move, whatever move you're making, but you've talked yourself out of it or made yourself believe kind of like, I could do that, but I won't. I could do that, but I won't. And then you hit this moment where like you're at the fork in the road, like you're racing towards this turn, left or right, left or right, left or right, and you're like, I'm going to go that way. And you're like, crap, I didn't think I was going to do that, but here I go. And here you go. That's a quick move with the Chariot. Kind of like letting go of these falsehoods, not letting somebody else do this to you anymore. You've made your decision. You're kind of like, it may be like a quick decision on the outside, but this is something you've pondered and just maybe talked yourself out of a few times. Then the moment comes and you got to do what you got to do. Because the Chariot comes in and they're backing it up with the action card. Like, they're not letting us get around this. I feel like this is an abrupt change. Something you've considered before, but other people probably don't know. It's something you've thought about but said, no, I'm not going to do that. And then it comes around again, no, I'm not going to do that. Then all of a sudden you're like, I got to do that. There you go. I have no choice. There I go. Left turn, got to do it. They're not letting us get around it. They're like, I feel like it's just, it seems like you're shocking yourself, but at the same time, you're like, well, I thought about it. I just didn't really think I was going to do it. I told myself I wasn't going to do it. There I go. I just did it. Whatever this left turn is, you got a very, very interesting situation. You're forcing whoever this other person is down another path. We're done. This is not going to happen anymore. I can't do it. You're forcing them through that portal. It's kind of like, it's a little unnerving. If I look at this scene, to me it's a little unnerving. Like, how does that even exist there? How do we get up there? Where is that going? To them, it's that uncomfortable. But it's not a choice. It's kind of like, it's a cold, barren land where they're living now. Their only choice is to go through that portal and find new happiness somewhere else. You're forcing them. You're forcing them out. This is a really interesting thing. Whoever this person is, whoever that is, because I don't think we should judge who it is, because whoever it is whoever it is to you. Lover, sibling, lover, friend, family, whatever. I'm getting the 3 and 3 here. They've got the 3 of Swords with the 3 of Cups. They're going to be very devastated. I know the 3, that's usually the 10 of Swords energy, but what I'm getting is they're going to have a fit. They're going to be very heartbroken and upset about this. The backup card is, though, they're going to heal from this. This is going to give them a chance to make things better for themselves. Hopefully they learn. Hopefully they realize this is a bad behavior and this isn't good. I know this may sound rude, but that's not your responsibility for them to evolve, even if it's not. They have to choose to evolve. We all have to choose, no matter what stage in life we're in. I know that may sound really harsh. We all make our own decisions all the way through. Go towards something that's better, go towards something that's worse. As we get older, we hopefully evolve and realize, I've made these choices before, it didn't pan out. Hopefully I make better ones. But whoever the other person is, they have to choose to want to make things better for themselves. You are giving them the opportunity to do that with the 3 of Cups. The 3 of Swords is saying, initially, they're going to hate it. Hate it like nobody's business. Now, whatever this is, your life is going to improve, but I don't want to give the false energy, kind of like, this person is not gone. So, they're not gone. But your interaction with them is changing. You got the 4 of Swords with the Star card. You're changing how you're dealing with them, and you're healing. You have a breath of new life. You got hope coming in. They're realizing and you're realizing neither of you can allow this to go back to where it was. You're realizing it because you can't do it anymore. They're realizing it because you won't let it happen anymore. This is coming forward, but I don't feel like this person's completely out of your life, because I'm getting Faith with the Hanged Man at the end. They're still around in some respect. There's something here where you can't totally just disconnect from them. You just can't. I don't know what else to say about it. It's a general read. You know how that fits better than I do. But you can't. You can't disconnect from them. Not completely. It's just not going to happen. But the faith is here. I was like, as long as I hold the line, I can at least start to breathe again. I can at least start to live my life again. It's also the faith is realizing it's going to take you holding to this and realizing this is a better way to do this. You can't let this backslide. You can't, like, clearly this if you allow this person to go back to that behavior, they will go back to it like that. The faith is realizing the only way you're going to be happy is for you to hold to it. And it's up to you to hold the line. You have to hold the boundary. If you don't hold the boundary, the other person will not, because they don't like to. They don't want to. They want to go back to what it was. They want to pull you back in. They want to control you. They will be... The peace in the environment is telling me this is not bad for them. Don't let guilt trips come your way. Let peace come in. You can be at peace. You can be at peace. But... And I feel like it's just holding that boundary. You can't give in on the boundary. Whatever your boundary is, you cannot give in on it. I feel like when I'm feeling Gemini energy, don't play with that. What do we mean by that? Like, don't negotiate it. Don't allow it to be negotiated. There's a boundary there. Remind yourself that your happiness depends on that boundary. Do not let that boundary get negotiated. Because I feel like you might be like, well, maybe we can do something different later. There might be some type of guilt that comes your way, or something where maybe I can do this differently. Maybe we can change. Maybe we can think about. No, keep the boundary. Keep that boundary strong. You have other things in life that you can work with, move around, find different possibilities. Not this. Once you have that boundary, keep it hard, keep it strong. Do not negotiate it. Are we good? All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.